Hello again, my beautiful people, Jamaican youth in the building yet again. And in this one, we're talking about Omari Hutchinson. Yes, we're talking about the Chelsea striker, the Chelsea winger, who was on loan to Ipswich Town this season and helped Ipswich got promoted back to the Premier League. Yes, we're here to talk about him. And we're asking the question, should Omari Hutchinson remain at Chelsea, or should he go over and be at Ipswich? In addition to that, is Omari Hutchinson ready to commit to Jamaica? Big questions that have to be answered before next season comes around, maybe even before the summer come around. So we're going to get right into it. But before we get into it, I want to ask you to do the usual. Hit the like button because it helps to send the video out to more eyes. And if you're new, if you haven't subscribed as yet, please hit the subscribe button as it helps to grow the channel. So please take some time to do that. And without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about Omari Hutchinson. Yes, Omari Hutchinson. We're talking about the Chelsea winger who was on loan to Ipswich Town this season and helped Ipswich get promoted to the Premier League. Now, we all know a little bit about Omari Hutchinson. He was that Prem 2 player that was doing so well for Chelsea in that under-21 league. You know, Jamaica called him up for a national senior call-up. He came and played 2 games that weren't official, played against Trinidad, and so on. And so we've been monitoring Omari Hutchinson because us as Reggae Boyz fans, we really want to see this player in the national colours playing for us because we know that this player could help us so much. But he hasn't committed to an official game as yet. So we're going to talk about that in a second, but we just want to go through Ipswich Town, talking about Ipswich Town and their promotion to the current Premier League or to the Premier League for next season. Now, we know that Ipswich Town was in League One last season. Last season, Ipswich Town was in League One, and what ended up happening there is that they came second in League One and they got promoted to the Championship League for the 23-24 season. So in 22-23, Ipswich Town, League One, 23-24 season, which is the season that recently ended. I mean, the Championship is going to have a playoff, but as far as Ipswich Town is concerned, their season is done. And for 23-24 season, they were in the Championship League. So really, they only spent 1 season in the Championship, and now they're back in the Premiership. And I say back in the Premiership because for those of you who know a little bit about Ipswich Town, years ago, they were in the Premier League and, you know, they fell down into the lower leagues. But now they're back. And Omari Hutchinson helped them to get back. As a matter of fact, Omari Hutchinson have scored something like 10 or 11 goals in about 44 appearances for Ipswich Town this season. And so the question is, right now, especially considering he was even man of the match, he scored in their final game of the season, that 2-0 victory over Huddersfield Town. Should Omari Hutchinson remain at Chelsea? Because remember, he was just on loan to Ipswich Town. So he's still a Chelsea player. Should he remain at Chelsea, or should he move on to Ipswich Town and become a permanent player? The player has said he wants to actually move on to Ipswich Town. As a matter of fact, there is an article that I found, and there are many articles on Sky Sports and so on, you name it. There are many articles talking about Omari Hutchinson since his exploits over the weekend, helping Ipswich back to Premier League and also helping them win that game against Huddersfield. So it says, Chelsea youngster Omari Hutchinson has stated he hopes to stay at Ipswich Town next season following their promotion to the Premier League. Hutchinson joined the Tractor Boys on a season-long loan last summer and established himself as a key member of the team that fired Ipswich back to the top flight for the first time in 20 years. So it's been a while. I remember when Ipswich Town was in the Premier League, but it was what it was years ago. It says the 20-year-old scored the second goal in the 2-0 win over Huddersfield last weekend, which guaranteed a second place finish and automatic promotion. So Ipswich hasn't really been in the Premier League in Hutchinson's last lifetime because he's 20 years old. Chelsea have had mixed success with their loans this season, but by far the most successful has been Hutchinson's. The winger won the Ipswich Player of the Month award, and on 3 separate occasions, it says the winger won the Ipswich Player of the Month award on 3 separate occasions and was also named Championship Player of the Month for February. In total, Hutchinson made 44 appearances in the Championship, scoring 10 goals and providing 6 assists in what's been a brilliant season for his development as a player. With his loan now over, he will return to Chelsea, where he has 1 year remaining on the contract he signed after joining on a free transfer from Arsenal in 2022. It would come as a shock if the Blues weren't to offer Hutchinson fresh terms following his successful loan spell. And after sealing promotion, he was asked about his future, hinting he wanted to remain at Portman Road. I hope to stay at Ipswich next season. We'll see what my agent and manager says, he told Sky Sports. It's the best loan I could have ever imagined. Yes, that is him talking about getting loaned out to Ipswich Town. It's the best loan he could have ever imagined because he helped a team get promotion to the Premier League. And if you're Hutchinson, you have to be sitting thinking, say, look, I mean, if I have to choose between playing for Chelsea and Ipswich, obviously Chelsea is the bigger club, and if I could guarantee myself getting game time consistently at Chelsea, then of course I would stay at Chelsea, and of course maybe a little bit more money too, because currently his market value is at 4.5 million euros, and it's being reported that should Hutchinson sign another contract and go over to Ipswich, his market value would explode and beyond 4.5 million euros. So should he stay at Chelsea? Well, to answer that question, it would all depend. What is Chelsea offering him? Because if I was Hutchinson, I would be like, look, I mean, I can't stay. I don't want to stay at Chelsea if I'm just going to go back to playing Prem 2. Because obviously if he goes to Ipswich, Ipswich would use him. I'm sure he would be a starting player at Ipswich, and that would be in the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure he would be perfect to play in the Premier League than to play in the Prem 2. So Chelsea's going to have to answer that question. If you keep Hutchinson, is one of 3 things they have to do. They keep him and put him back in the Prem 2 because maybe they think he's not ready for play for them first team as yet, which, at this point, I don't know how you can make that claim. 2, you loan him back out to Ipswich Town. 3, you sell him to Ipswich Town. And 4, I know I said 3 things, but 4 things, the 4th thing is that you just make him a part of your first team. You know what I mean? So it's either you make him a part of your first team, you put him back in the Prem 2, you loan him back out to Ipswich Town, or you just sell him outright to Ipswich Town. In whatever Chelsea chooses to do is going to be difficult, because if they try to loan him out back to Ipswich, I don't think he's going to want that. He's going to want a permanent deal, and I think he has said that. He's going to want a permanent deal. So I'm either permanently at Chelsea or permanently at Ipswich. I don't think he wants that loan situation again, because the wages he's being paid now on loan, I think, is maybe Chelsea wages, which is kind of lower. Outside of if he was sold to Ipswich, he would be paid higher. You know what I mean? Because he would no longer be attached to Chelsea. So I don't think he would want a loan deal. What I think he wants, and he has said as much, is that he wants to go to Ipswich. He's happy there. He's getting game time there. He's well respected there. He's loved there. He's not going to struggle to get game time. The other thing, if Chelsea decides to keep him and put him on the first team, that could be good for him too, but I don't think he would necessarily love that, because if you're at Chelsea, it's going to be very difficult for you to get game time. You know what I mean? And with Chelsea, one mistake you make and you're going back on the bench. You know what I mean? There are clubs like those that have high ambition can be very unforgiving. So I don't know. It might not be, while Chelsea is the bigger club and all of that, it might not want to stay there because, they never put him on the first team in the first place. They put him out on loan even though he was doing so well, and, he still continued to do well at Ipswich. But is he going to come back and they're going to put him in front of some of those players that are sitting on the bench? I mean, remember, you still have the likes of Raheem Sterling there, who is, when fit, an outstanding winger. So you're going to have to compete with him for game time, and that's not easy. You have the others there, the Maduekes, the Murdicks, the you name it. You have all of these other players that, the Cole Palmers, those are going to be hard players to get game time over. So maybe that's the reason why he just wants to go to Ipswich. The idea of him, the possibility of him getting game time at Chelsea is going to be low. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to speak to his agent and maybe hope to get it to the point where he moves permanent to Ipswich. Now, the question becomes if Chelsea is going to want to let him go. Maybe for the right price, they will let him go. Or, maybe they're saying, no, we don't really want to let go of him yet because, we don't really know how things are going to pan out. Chelsea has been up and down this season, even though now they are sixth in the Premier League, sixth or seventh, they are both. So they have really kind of picked it up in the latter part of the season since Pochettino has come on board. And now they are looking better. I think Chelsea will have a much better season next season than they had this season. Chelsea can aim for top 4 next season. They are having a better latter part of the season. It's like Pochettino has come and kind of settled things down and is getting into a rhythm. And Chelsea is looking better. See, look, they walloped West Ham yesterday. And honestly, I never did think that would have happened because I was there saying, boy, I don't see Chelsea walloping West Ham, especially since West Ham has been coming into their own since Mikel Antonio came back off injury. They started to play a little bit better now. But yesterday they gave West Ham 5-0. And that's without Raheem Sterling. That's with Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer, who's having an outstanding season. Murdick, Madueke, those players, they're doing really well with those players. And I know I made a video about Dujan Whisper Richards, which I think can add a lot to their team. But we'll have to see, because now if you're throwing Omari Hutchinson in the mix, it might take a little while longer. But, now Chelsea have a good problem. They have a lot of good young players that they need to know how to manage. So we want to see what happens. It will be interesting to see how that pans out. If Hutchinson will stay at Ipswich or stay at Chelsea, or he will make a permanent move to Ipswich Town, who has gone to the Premiership now. An outstanding achievement by Ipswich Town, because remember, again, they were in League One for the 2022-23 season, and they got promoted as second place behind Plymouth Argyle. And now both Plymouth Argyle, I think it was Plymouth Argyle, Sheffield Wednesday, and Ipswich Town that came to the Championship. Now Ipswich Town has qualified to the Premiership as the second place team behind Leicester City, and Plymouth Argyle, I think, is finishing 21st. In the Championship, and I think Sheffield Wednesday is somewhere down there as well. So very, very, very outstanding achievement by Ipswich Town, and obviously Omari Hutchinson helped them. Whatever Ipswich Town did this season definitely worked, because they are back in the Premiership after 20 years. So that is outstanding. So that is a little bit about the situation with Hutchinson as it relates to Chelsea and Ipswich Town. But now I want to talk about about the question, will Omari Hutchinson now commit to Jamaica? So for those of you who have been watching, we all saw when he posted, or when that picture came up of him being promoted, and he had the Jamaica flag wrapped around his waist. You know what I mean? Like, that is a very significant thing. You know what I mean? Because the reason why that is significant is that he has been called up for Jamaica senior team, and he has been called up for England's under-20 team. And he, when he got promoted, had the Jamaica flag wrapped around him. No, we don't know what that means. Is he sending a message to say, I'm committed to Jamaica now? And or am I just wearing Jamaica because my parents are Jamaicans and I represent my parents, the land of my parents' birth type thing? Remember, Omari Hutchinson has represented the Reggae Boyz before in a friendly that wasn't really a FIFA friendly. It was just a, friendly between nations, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. So it wasn't official friendly. And I think he also represented Jamaica in an unofficial friendly in Europe again. I don't remember the Catalonia game or something like that he played. So he hasn't officially represented Jamaica as yet in any official capacity. And the question becomes, is Omari Hutchinson going to commit to Jamaica, or is he going to still continue to tell us to wait? I'm very happy for Omari Hutchinson. Honestly, even though I'm a Chelsea supporter and I want all the best players, in this case, with Omari Hutchinson thinking, should I stay at Chelsea or move on to Ipswich? For his sake, it probably, the Ipswich Town, the possibility of him moving to Ipswich Town permanently is probably a better situation for him than staying at Chelsea. You know what I mean? Even though I would love him for stay at Chelsea. But for his sake, probably going to Ipswich Town would be better for the reasons that I've already laid out. But in terms of whether he's going to commit to Jamaica, I mean, right now, I love Omari Hutchinson. I'm glad to see him get promoted and that and thing. But really and truly, I don't know what excuse could be there that's left to say, you're going to commit to us or you're not going to commit to us. No. I don't know what else left to do, because the first time when, as Coach Jaime Hallgrimson came out and said, Jamaica's coach, national team coach, came out and said, yeah, he has been in contact with Hutchinson, has invited him to the national camp, both for the Nations League and any of the other games that have been played recently. But Hutchinson's response has always been, yeah, I'm not ready yet. I'm trying to focus on my club football right now. And, honestly, I even think he went as far as saying focusing on getting Ipswich promoted back to the Premier League. I don't quite remember that, but I know he did say he's focusing on club football. So now I'm looking at things and, Hutchinson, I am almost sure he will be playing in the Premier League next season. Whether it is that Chelsea keep him and make him a promise, say, look, if we keep you, we are guaranteeing you game time. Or whether them say, we can't guarantee you in a game time now, so here we're going to Ipswich. We're not ready for sell you yet, we're going to loan you out another season. Because they have the option there, right? But whatever it takes, Omari Hutchinson will be playing in the Premier League next season, from all indications. Unless something happen, knock on wood, God forbid anything bad happens. But like, all things being equal, he's going to play in the Premiership next season. So that's no longer an excuse for say, me need to focus on this now, so I can't really pay no attention to international football. In addition to that, this summer we have Jamaica has the Copa America and the World Cup qualifying. We have World Cup qualifiers in June. We have Copa America in July. So the truth of the matter is that there's no club football going on at that time. So we really have to ask ourselves the question, if Omari Hutchinson don't commit, if he doesn't come for these dates this time, what would be the excuse? What would be the reason why he's not coming to represent Jamaica at this point? Because I don't really see any reason why he shouldn't. You have qualified for the Premier League now, and you're going to be playing in the Premier League next season. And you're young, you're 20 years old, so that's outstanding. You're going to be one of the hot young prospects in the Premier League next season. So you playing World Cup qualifying and you playing Copa America, I guess the only thing that you could risk injury, but I mean, you're going to be playing in the tournament where a lot of top players are playing. Copa America is a lot of top players. And in addition to that, Jamaica stands a really, really good chance of qualifying for the World Cup. So it's not like if you come and play for Jamaica, you know what I mean, you risk dropping your value, because right now there's a lot of big players, the Mikel Antonios, the Ethan Pino, the Omari Bells. Even though Omari Bell look like his team is going back down to the championship. Liam Bailey when he comes back, you know, and so on. Bobby Reid, Demarai Gray. There are lots of decent players on Jamaica's team. No, Jamaica stands a really good chance of qualifying for the World Cup. So there's not really much of a reason to not come and represent Jamaica. So I would really want to see what is he going to do now. I don't really see much more of an excuse. He's 20 years old. You're young, yes, but not that young, you know what I mean? Like, you're ready for launch off your career now. You're going to be in the Premiership next season, and Jamaica looks to be World Cup bound. So you have a really, really, really nice platform, right? You have the Premiership league that you'll play in, which is the best league in the world, and you can possibly play in the next World Cup. You know, getting called for England is up in the air unless you're going at the Premier League and crush it. And that's easier said than done, because, like, you know what I mean, even Ivan Toney, who was crushing it in the championship with 31 goals and then came over into the Premier League, he had to do a whole year of consistent performance and go into another season of consistent performances before the England manager would even consider him for the senior team. And we are saying with Jamaica as is right now, if you commit to Jamaica, you're almost pretty much guaranteed for playing at the World Cup. Because Jamaica stands a really good chance of being in the 2026 World Cup. So it's a lot of upsides for Omari Hutchinson right now. And I really want him to commit to Jamaica, because obviously we want to see Jamaica with the best players that we have available and us putting together a strong, formidable team. In addition, Omari Hutchinson can play the midfield role too, which is a position that we are lacking in. So if we can get him in there, if I have a player that's that versatile, that can play the midfield and can play the wing, you know what I mean, it's a win-win. Because you can imagine if I have him in the middle, Liam Bailey on the left and Bobby Reid on the right, or vice versa. You see me, with Mikel Antonio up front, and, you know, hopefully a Whisper Richards, you know what I mean, a developed Whisper Richards will get some Premier League minutes, maybe even become a starting Premier League player by 2026. That would have been an outstanding front line. It would have been a mad front line, that. You see me? So, at that moment, I say go on still. Anyway, I'm not going to make that video too long. It's done long already. What that? 24 minutes. So, we're going to end it right here, so. But what do you think? What do you think about everything I'm have to say? So, put your thoughts in the comment section and make we chop it up. Until next time, on your way out, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And until next time, walk good, take care of yourself. Peace out, everybody.